got the kids in bed, finally some peace. Two dads on the mic, ready to release. From diaper duty to a Reddit dive, we're talking dad life, keeping it alive. So grab your headphones, settle on the couch. For stories and laughs, no need to slouch. Whether it's anime fights or a gaming quest, it's set to and past, putting you to the test.
Welcome, folks, to another episode of Set 2 and Pass. We actually do have some topics to talk about tonight, so that's going to be pretty interesting. Because normally we just go into this whole game playing blind, but tonight, not tonight. Tonight we got something about me. I'm Dylan, and I got this guy over here with me,
AC, and I got stuff to talk about.
Yeah, man, we got quite a few topics. I'm actually kind of surprised that we have topics to talk about, so that's pretty cool. So how's your week been?
Normal, long, very, very hot, humid, sticky, gross.
Yeah, I feel that it was like in the 90s down here today.
Yeah, that's what it was there on Thursday for me, just with a ton of rain in between all of it.
I wish we were getting... we got, hot rain. I don't know if you've ever experienced hot rain before.
I've never even heard of hot rain.
Alright, so it's basically rain that hits you, you know how normally when rain gets you, it's cold rain, it's cold water, and, it cools everything down?
Yeah. Nah,
this is just, humid. This is, lukewarm water that just fallen out of the sky at, 70 degrees, and it's just, this ain't doing nothing.
I'm not gonna lie, that sounds pretty lame.
Yeah, it sucked. And so it did that for 10 minutes today, and then it just stopped, and then it got even more humid. And it's really? Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Alright, so I just want to get right into this first thing because I've been thinking about it all day, actually thinking about it. So a big trend that I've been seeing on TikTok is, what would your Pokemon team look like realistically? Now, I've seen more people harping on other people's chosen teams because they're like, you couldn't have this because this reason, or you couldn't have this because this reason. I think one of the biggest one was some person really likes Macargo. But then this one girl is just like, you couldn't have a Macargo because its body temperature gets up to 1800 degrees Celsius. It's just yeah, well, Ash could pet a Ponyta that was literally on fire because it trusted him, so I'm guessing that kind of works the same thing with Macargo, that he's able to, pick and choose who he doesn't melt.
Yeah, I would say there's some kind of, body heat regulation, as odd as that is to kind of even really put into perspective.
Right.
I feel like when people say things like that, it's just to cause an argument, because the writers had to have thought that kind of stuff out, because some of these cute cuddly creatures are not exactly cute and cuddly. If you read some of these Pokedex entries.
Absolutely. There's some gym leaders who just wouldn't be able to do the things that she did with her, Flannery, for example. Her team was all fire Pokemon, and she's known to have, the carbon monoxide spewing Torkoal. So,
yeah,
I don't know. People be lame.
Exactly. And yeah, it's just, people just want to argue. And at the end of the day, the question's not there to be, the most realistic thing, ever. It's supposed to be for fun, so just let it be fun.
Absolutely. So, like I said, I've actually been thinking about this quite a bit today, just because I was genuinely thinking, as now I'm an adult, what kind of, if Pokemon were real, how would my team look based on where I've been in my life. And I gotta say, for my starter, just because I did grow up in kind of like a rural Pennsylvania area, I said just because we always had boxers, like the dog boxers. So I chose Snubble as my like first hand Pokemon because I grew up with a dog. My parents had a friend who bred boxers, and when I was born, they were like, "Here's a puppy for your kid to grow up with." So I chose Snubble, which by now, me being 33, would probably be a Granbull. And where I was located, right? It makes sense. And then, so shortly after, I lived in Pennsylvania for a couple of years, and then we ended up moving to upstate New York. Now I have to say upstate because normally whenever I say New York, people always assume the city or one of those areas. No, I'm upstate New York, bumfuck nowhere, that kind of ordeal. So we had a lot of mountains and lakes by us. So I would say somewhere up there I would have met a Geodude and a Wooper. Just because Wooper's known to travel around where people have boats, and on the lakes that I was near, everyone had boats. And it was big freshwater lakes and rivers and whatnot. So that's where I would say that a Wooper would come in, and then the mountainous areas where Graveler would come in. I also grew up on a farm. When we moved up to upstate New York, I lived with my aunt for a hot minute, and she had a farm, so that's where I figured that I would meet a Miltank, because she had a lot of dairy cows, and that was part of our job, or part of our chores growing up was, taking care of the cows and whatnot. So I figure somewhere along the way I would have, captured or obtained a Miltank. Of course, working on farms is a lot of heavy lifting. I also did a lot of moving with a moving company. I worked for Lowe's for a minute, and that's where I would say that I would have met a Machop, which by now, me being 33, he would have evolved into a Machoke. So far we've got Granbull, Graveler, Quagsire, Machoke, and Miltank. And now that I live down here by the beach where I do live, I would say I would have met my best friend's signature Pokemon, Krabby, because there's always crabs on the beach. So my final team would have been Granbull, Graveler, Quagsire, Machoke, Miltank, and a possible Kingler.
So you thought about this a lot deeper than I did.
Yeah, I did. Like, this was one of those things that really, really tickled my brain, because I was like, realistically, what Pokemon would be in the areas that because I was going to throw something Texas-related in there, like a Sandshrew or Sandslash or something like that, just because I did live in Texas for 2 years. But I was like, nah, I'll save it for the beach.
Yeah. Honestly, I grew up in a rural area of Pennsylvania as well. I kind of feel like Pennsylvania closely relates to the Hoenn region,
Yeah.
just minus the volcano. But we have I guess not really, because there's like a jungle area too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like at least maybe a good portion of the Hoenn region then.
Yeah.
But I don't know, the way I thought about it was just kind of practicability. Just not on I didn't think about it as deep as what would actually be around me. But I think for my first pick, I would like to keep it traditional, so I would like to attain your traditional starter.
Right.
But for what I do and my hobbies outside of nerdy things, like fishing, hunting, all that jazz, honestly, I think I'd pick Trico.
Nice. Okay.
Now, I might be a little biased just because he is probably my favorite starter, even though he's stat-wise terrible.
Nah, Trico's lovely.
But in any case, like, I just feel like having the grass type because of, walking through, grassy, wooded areas. I don't know. I just feel like the outdoorsy aspect of things I like to do, Trico kind of fits that.
Oh, absolutely. I could totally see him out there with a fishing pole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just chilling.
Or just, yeah, not really doing much, but he'll be there.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I'm still gonna follow my original list here, even though, like, I don't know. I'm kind of thinking about it now too. Like, what would I really run into? But I think my second pick, I think it would have to be something fire type.
Okay.
It's fire type's one of my favorites. You can't go wrong with them. But I think for that, I would actually go with oh, I have to think of his name, but it's the Prevolution to Talonflame, Fletchling.
Okay.
Now it comes to me. I don't know. I feel like every Pokemon team needs like a bird in it.
Right.
Especially with like all the great options, like Talonflame being one. Even like Corviknight.
Yeah.
As literally terrifying as that thing would be in real life.
It'd be pretty cool though. He's a big bird.
It is a big bird. Big steel bird at that.
Right? Like, they use that thing as taxis, man.
Now, my next one is more just, I don't know, just kind of like a Pokemon I feel like I would just put on the team because it's kind of one of my favorites from Generation 3. I used him so much, but I think I would get I think I would try to acquire a Manectric.
Ooh, a Manectric, very nice.
It's just, I don't know. I don't really have a good like reason for Manectric specifically, but I don't know. I just feel like he's a good part of any team. Speed. He could be a backup generator.
Dude, that works. I've always loved Manectric. Like, he's he's always been one of my favorite electric type Pokemon, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've always had him on my team in every like Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald run through I've ever done. It's literally, I think I even think for like the time in like that generation, I think he was underrated.
Right.
But I think also, and this is also going into my life outside and like fishing and things like that. I believe I would somehow end up with like a Caravana.
Okay.
Because, I don't know. I feel like that's how my luck would be if that's what our options were. Just the meanest fish that I could possibly reel in.
Hey, man, he turns into a pretty cool shark, so.
So what? We're at number 5 now?
Yeah, you're going on the 5th one, yeah.
Yeah, my number 5 pick, I think, would be Heracross.
Ooh, very solid pick.
They're tanks, quite loyal. And just, I don't know, another underrated pick in my opinion. Like, I still believe he is at least fighting for the top spot of best bug Pokemon.
I love him too. Like, I don't know, between him and Scizor, I would say are my two favorite bugs.
All right, yeah, you got me there, and I'm like, right, I'm exactly there with you because Scizor is my other favorite bug Pokemon. I remember whenever Gen 2 released when like we were kids and I saw him for the first time and I didn't even know it was an evolution of Scyther.
Yeah.
I just saw him and I was like, that's the coolest thing ever.
I remember scrambling with my cousin trying to figure out how the heck to get the Scizor.
Well, I'm not a Gen 2 player, so you're gonna have to fill that blank in.
Well, we really didn't have the internet that much when Gen 2 came out. So when we saw Scizor in the anime, then we saw him in game, and we were like, this dude looks so cool. Like, he looks so badass, but we had no idea how to get him. Because, like, you can get Scyther pretty early on with the bug catching tournament right there in Northern Goldenrod. And,
Okay.
yeah, in between Goldenrod and Ecruteak. You can get a Scyther or a Pinsir or whatever you wanted there. But you had to wait till you got the metal coat, and then you had to trade with your friend to get Scizor. Because that's how you evolve Scyther, is you equip it, or you have him hold the metal coat. You then trade him with a friend, and then he evolves. That's also how you get Steelix. But we didn't know that at first. So we had to wait till we went to Walmart again, and then we had to wait for them to have the gold and silver guidebook in stock. So once that guidebook came into stock, then we went back to electronics, looked it up, saw that we had to trade with them. We were like, oh, okay. And then we ended up getting Scizors, and he was a staple on my Gen 2 team from like then on, just because he was just so dope.
Dude, if I would have had Gen 2 and I would have figured that out, I probably would have done the exact same thing, honestly.
Yeah.
I just I didn't get the opportunity because I didn't have a Game Boy until Game Boy Advance came out.
Oh, okay.
So I had to wait until Gen 3 came out.
That's all right. Gen 3 was goaded.
Dude, it's honestly, I still think out of every generation, it's at least top 3.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Especially if you're playing Emerald.
Dude, I would have much rather them gave us an Emerald remake than the Diamond and Pearl one that we got.
Yes.
Like that. I mean, that maybe that's just me, but I would have much rather had the Battle Frontier again than.
Well, and it's especially because of how much like Gen 4 already gets a lot of attention.
Mm-hmm.
Like even still to the day, they still take care of that generation of Pokemon pretty well for the most part
Yep.
with the new regions. Even though the one thing that we all want and should have by now is either Mega Luxray or an actual dark electric type Luxray.
That'd be pretty cool. Luxray would be a pretty cool Dark Electric type.
Yeah, and I think it would make him just a little more competitively viable. I mean, I'm not an expert by any means, but I feel like a dual typing would help him.
Right.
I would honestly go with an Umbreon. Speaking of Generation 2. It's my second favorite dark type of all time,
Okay.
but as much as I would like to say and like it was a toss up for me, but I just don't think that Absol would work for me in actual real life, even though it's like my favorite Pokemon of all time.
The disaster Pokemon.
Exactly. You know, I cause enough disaster on my own.
Right.
So, but I think that's where I would go with my 6. Um, and you can roast me in the comments all you want.
No, man, that's pretty dope. So I'd imagine if just because I know you're a little bit younger than me, so you'd probably have the Grovyle, Fletchinder, Manectric. I don't remember what level Carvana evolves at. Heracross and Umbreon.
I think it's 30, 32?
I honestly couldn't remember. I honestly don't think I've ever run a Sharpedo on my team.
Oh, that was another one I always had. Sharkpedo was like my favorite water type
Yeah.
to come out of
Level,
Gen 3.
level 30.
Okay, I was close.
Yeah, no, level 30. Yeah.
Although
No, that's a solid team.
I will say though, if I did ever switch starters, I would I would probably switch for a Mudkip
A Mudkip.
with Trico.
Everyone loves Mudkip.
How can you not?
Yeah. No, Mudkip's great.
Like I remember whenever I saw that it was a water ground type as a kid, and I was like, dude, like, what is gonna stop me?
Razor Leaf.
Yeah. I found out real quick. I forgot that as a kid, I forgot that ground types are very weak to grass as well.
Yeah. Now, looking at my team, I just realized I've got a huge grass weakness. Because Graveler's 4 times, Quagsire's 4 times, and then Kingler's 2 times. Weak to grass. Yeah! But that's alright. That's what we got Miltank with Sap Sipper for.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man, that hidden ability Miltank. Now, this was an interesting little thing. Like I said, I kept seeing it on TikTok. So I thought, why not? Why not give it a shot? It seemed like it'd be pretty fun, and turns out it wasn't bad. It was neat.
Now, to kind of add on to this, just like to the question itself, do you think it would honestly, like, it would be a popular thing, like what the games have with, like, the PC systems?
Oh, I don't know.
Like, I mean, I don't know if it would be, like, spot on to, you just walk up to, well, I mean, I don't know. The anime, they kind of just did that.
Right.
But, I don't know. I don't, obviously, playing the game and catching everything is one thing, but having to do it in real life and not just walk through patches of tall grass and wait for your screen to glitch out.
Right, we'd basically be NPCs.
That kind of hurts to think. I want to be the main character. I want to go fight Groudon.
And I mean, that's the thing, because a lot of the complaints that people were having against these people doing these, the quote-unquote realistic ones, there was someone on there who was like, oh, my grandfather used to work with clocks, so I would have primal Dialga. And I was like, alright, I can understand why that wouldn't happen. Or one person was like, oh, I'm really, really into nature, like I'm super into nature, so a Celebi would find me. Yeah, and throw your ass in the past. That's what would happen.
You have to think some of these through, like I did with the disaster Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yes, it's my favorite, but no, it's not. It's not logical.
Right? It's not normal in a rural area.
Actually, and I am pretty sure that there's like only, I don't even think there's a handful of Absol appearances in the show.
No, like I know in the movie he was in the Jirachi Wishmaker movie he was a pretty big part of it. But
Wasn't there was it was the beginning sequence of a movie. I want to say it might have been the Hoopa one, but I'm pretty sure Ash battles like a Mega Evolution Absol.
I can see that.
Because that's actually, yeah, I know it had to, I don't know which movie it is. I know it's a movie, but that is what led me to actually like, because I'd taken a long break from Pokemon since then. I hadn't played since like I was a kid. And I don't even remember what year this was I saw this clip, but I remember seeing that and I was like, well, that's Absol, but why does he look funny? So then I started Googling funny-looking Absol and came to the conclusion that Mega Evolution was a thing, and I wish it would come back.
Right.
Because I missed it.
No, I remember, I don't remember what her name was, but it was during the Lumiose conference. We got to see some girl. She had a Mega Absol. That was all right. It was part of the Mega Evolution special for the X and Y series.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. The trainer's name was Astrid, and she had a Mega Absol. But I remember there was the one Pokemon Tamer. He had an Absol. I can't remember what the hell his name is. The green-haired Tamer guy who was doing like the Pokemon contests and stuff. He had an Absol. But I don't I can't really think of too many scenes in the end, like, and this is going, like, I have to really think about it because this is way back. Because if this is the Pokemon contest, this means it's back with May. So that's Diamond and Pearl. Hey there, guys. This is future Dylan editing guy realizing that no, May was not in Diamond and Pearl. That May was in the Ruby and Sapphire series. So I'm correcting myself. All right, back to the show. Yes, that's a minute ago. That's a while ago. Drew? Was that his name? I think his name was Drew. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, Drew. Okay, yeah, Drew had an Absol. He also was famous for his Roselia and whatnot. But no, Absol is definitely one of those Pokemon that I don't think that I've seen too many times in the anime. Like I said, I know he played a big role in Jirachi Wishmaker. Yeah, I know he played a big role in Jirachi Wishmaker, but that's about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it's not really like a super popular Pokemon, so it makes sense that he doesn't get that much screen time, but it's nice to see at least.
Right, and I mean, that's a shame because he is a really cool Pokemon.
It's got some really cool lore.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of Pokemon in general that have some really cool, like, lore in general.
And then there's a lot of Pokemon that have some really crazy lore. Like Drifloon trying to steal kids.
Yes.
Or Phantom being a child who died in the woods and became a tree stump.
That is so... Dude, that's so crazy to think.
Yeah, man.
It's just hidden away by things, you know, us Yu-Gi-Oh players don't like to do. It's hidden by words. I haven't read, you know, obviously every single Pokedex entry, but if I ever see like a clip or like an article or something like that that has like, you know, a Pokedex entry that I haven't seen or something like that, I always at least try to hit it. That way I can see what kind of craziness unfolds.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of really crazy Pokedex entries out there, like Hypno stealing kids, or you know, Gengar's just living in your shadow, slowly killing you, and I don't know, some of them are super dark that a lot of people don't really think about, and they're like, "No, I totally have that Pokemon." Okay.
Even ones like Stunkfish. Dude, like, it's even ones like that that are like, yeah, they're out to get you.
Right? I mean, and to think there's a bunch of 10-year-olds running around with these Pokemon, it's just like, okay.
Yeah, you know, just these dangerous entities, almost weapons.
No, absolutely weapons. Absolutely weapons. Like something, I don't know, I remember seeing the one episode where, I don't know if you remember Brock's Happiny, the baby form of Chansey, lifted a frozen lake. Like, the lake froze, so Happiny went over, picked up all the frozen ice, or picked up all the ice in that lake, which was the entirety of the lake, and just tossed it. It's like, what? Yeah, dude, Pokemon are absolutely terrifying. I mean, they can be.
I didn't know that there was a Happiny that could do that.
Oh yeah, no, I think I have the video somewhere.
So yeah, you're exactly right. That's ridiculous.
Ridiculous in all of the best ways.
Yes. Dude, I I love that though. It's a part of it. You know what I mean?
Right?
The unexpected of these little creatures.
Everyone sees the cute and cuddly until they're trying to eat your face. And then they're not so
Yeah.
cute and cuddly anymore.
Not even a little bit. No, it's... You know what would actually be a really cool concept?
But,
Hear me out on this. But what if they actually made like a dark Pokemon anime? And I don't mean like... I don't even mean like no humans involved. Just like almost kind of like watching them in the wild, but like on a more realistic, violent type deal, if you're following me.
okay.
Almost like a nature documentary.
Man, I've seen some, I think they're AI clips, but I've seen some stuff on TikTok where they're showing, like, lifelike Pokemon. And some of those are terrifying. Like, I would hate to run into some of those. I mean, it looks really well done, but it's scary looking.
Scary.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've seen, I don't know if they're AI generated or not, but I have seen a few posts here and there, like realistic looking mons, and I agree, some of them are terrifying. But you know what's the most terrifying image of most Pokemon?
But,
Are you familiar with Pokemon Infinite Fusions?
yeah.
There is a Mr. Mime fusion that is absolutely haunting. Hold on. I have to remember which one it is. I remember seeing it once posted and I was like, what is this monstrosity? Like, what did they do to you?
Dude, anything fused with Mr. Mime would be terrifying.
Or Miltank.
Yeah,
It just gives everything titties.
Miltank would be a weird one.
Where is the search bar?
At the top of the screen.
Yeah, it is. Well, actually, if you're an Android user, they put ours on the bottom now because they're trying to be iPhone people.
What?
Android, at least on Samsung devices, they recently did a whole OS update, and it is so similar to Apple. It's not even funny.
Yeah, the Android device that I use is a Google Pixel, so all of its stuff is still up top.
Well, see, I can deal with the search bar being at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
But what I'm not a fan of is, so whenever you swipe down, you know how you get like all your like quick setting stuff and your notifications.
Right.
No, now it's again like Apple, where you swipe down on the right half of the screen, you get all your settings and stuff like that. If you swipe on the left, from the left side, it's all your notifications.
Okay.
But they're never together anymore, and I don't like it. I am not a fan.
Nah, it sounds like it'd be annoying. I don't like change.
I don't like change either.
Don't like change. Not nice.
I would have to honestly do some digging to find that Mr. Mime fusion.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, just send it to me when you can.
Yeah, I will one of these days. Now that it's, it was in my search history, it'll pop up within the next couple days, I'm sure.
Were you looking for this? Yes.
Trust me, I Googled a few times for that Magic the Gathering deck I sent you the last night. Mm-hmm. And there is so much Magic, like, in my For You page now. It is not even funny.
Oh, wow.
It's like, honestly, it's probably a good 75% of my algorithm right now.
Dang.
They were like, oh, we're really going to try to reel this kid in.
All the Magic cards, man.
Yeah, dude, I thought Yu-Gi-Oh was expensive.
Oh yeah, I think I have a Magic deck somewhere in my card drawer, but I have no idea. I have not played Magic in a while.
Yeah, I mean, I've played a few games here and there with friends. Obviously just borrowing extra stuff that they had.
Right.
And I liked the game enough that I was like, maybe sometime I'll get around to it. And it's just Final Fantasy happened to do the collaboration, and I was like,
Done.
give me my boy Tidus. Just, I'm slapping the old debit card on the counter.
Yeah, I think Titus has to be probably my second or third favorite protagonist in all of Final Fantasy.
He has such a good story.
He's a fun one.
And honestly, I'm trying to find the card right now so I can read it to you. But this precon deck of his, is that it right there? It is. So it's funny. The card is called Farewell,
Okay.
and the card reads. Well, it is a 2 white mana, 4 colorless. To cast, choose one or more, exile all artifacts, exile all creatures, exile all enchantments, exile all graveyards. So, and exiling is basically the equivalent to banishing from what I'm getting.
Oh.
So I basically, where I was sitting at that point in time is I had a bunch of lands and I had a soul ring.
Wow.
And since that was an artifact, I just said, you know what? We're going to exile everything except artifacts. So the card is literally did farewell.
That's nuts.
I had a whole table of gentlemen staring me down with not happy faces.
I bet.
Because this is like they're all more versed in the game than I am. And they just did not expect me to pull that. Because I had it in my hand, like, from the first 7. And I was like, ooh, this sounds kind of funny. I think I'll just keep a hold of this for a little while.
That's so gross
And
that it
then-
lets you choose one or more.
Yeah, so it's... Oh, but that's like honestly not even really as hectic as this game gets.
Right.
Like it feels like an entirely new match every single turn. So much stuff happens. Like I actually remember it was the second time I'd ever played Magic. I was playing a mono green deck, and I'm explaining this the best I can because I'm not trying to sound like an expert after playing a few official games on my own. But I remember the exact number. I made 8,197 insect tokens in a single turn.
What the hell?
And I just said, everyone dies.
How?
It was a very, very, very long string of cards that I couldn't tell you what they were.
That's crazy.
It was literally like my second game ever. That's what I said too. I'm staring there, and my buddy's like, dude, we don't have enough D20s to count all this.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then, there's there all the keywords. Like, I don't know that I'll fall into Magic like heavily, and I very highly doubt that I will. But if I only ever just have this precon deck just to play a funny game with my buddies, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, no, I get that. Like, I remember when the Digimon card game first came back. I was really looking forward to it because I thought it would be something new, I thought it would be something fun. My friends had no interest in it at all whatsoever. So I bought the only structure deck that they had, which was a Patamon deck. So I still have that Patamon deck.
That's not a bad pick.
Like, it's still just chilling somewhere in one of my moving boxes, just sitting there.
Have you thought about trying the One Piece?
I've seen
Card
it.
game?
I've seen it a couple of times, but I haven't actually.
I see it's picking up some popularity.
Yeah.
Like, even my local game store, they're starting to put One Piece stuff in the display cabinets.
Right.
And I've seen it a lot more. I've seen a lot more people talking about it in comment threads, that kind of thing. I myself haven't looked into it, so I don't really know anything about it other than it's One Piece themed.
Yeah. No, I mean, I haven't looked into it.
There's another one that I think it just randomly crosses my mind when I'm in Walmart because that's where I see the stuff. But there's a card game called Union Arena.
Okay.
And my local Walmart has like quite a few different ones, but I'm assuming they're all structure decks. I don't know if you can buy like single packs for this game or not, but they're all anime based, and each one of them are different. Like there's an Ichigo deck, there is an Asta deck. I'm pretty sure I saw one for like Jujutsu Kaisen, Hunter x Hunter. Pretty sure I saw a Demon Slayer one.
That'd be neat.
It honestly, like, I haven't looked into it, but I pick the boxes up every time, and I'm like, I wonder what this is. Like, I haven't even looked at the prices. Like, honestly, I think the next time I pick one up, I'm just gonna see if they're cheap enough, and I might just pick 2 of them up just to like see what it's about.
Nah, that seems like it'd be pretty cool. You said it was called Union what?
Union Arena.
Union Arena, okay. Now that does sound like it'd be pretty interesting, especially if it's like each anime has its own unique kind of structure deck around it. That reminds me a lot of Weiss Schwartz, because I know Weiss Schwartz has a lot of anime themed decks. Yeah, I think we talked about Weiss Schwartz before.
I'm pretty sure we have.
Yeah.
I will say, though, there is one Magic card I want because I definitely can run it with... Oh, because actually... So I shouldn't have actually said this is just a Tidus commander deck because technically, I guess any legendary creature can be a commander.
Okay.
But to fit everything in here, the only 2 that they give you that work, you actually get Yuna as a commander too.
Oh, dope. So is it just Final Fantasy X based, or is it like all Final Fantasy, or... Because I saw Farewell has Tidus and Yuna on it.
Yes. So for the better part, the precon that I got, the cards are prevalently based on Final Fantasy X. Now, there's a couple that are, like, oddball, like, one of my planes, it's like a picture of the regalia just going down a stretch of the highway.
Okay. Is Sin in it at all?
Sid?
Sin.
Yes, Sin is actually a card.
Nice.
I have it right in front of me. I'm actually going to pull it out. And actually, I'll just... Yeah, right there's Waka, there's Orin, Maester Seymour. I was super excited that Orin was included in here.
Oh, nice. Sin the Unending Cataclysm and Sin Spear's Punishment.
Yes.
Dude, I don't know what it is about Sin, but Final Fantasy X was the first numbered Final Fantasy game that I'd ever played. And... I don't know, dude. Just seeing Sin for the first time in the very beginning, where he's in his great big old water ball form, when him and Orin are just kind of like taking a stroll through Zanarkand. I don't know, dude. He was just so cool. Like, Sin was literally just this force of nature. And then come to find out, you get to actually fight this thing later on. And to me, that was awesome. Just because, you know, giant kaijus are always cool.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. But I'll give Magic the Gathering I'm going to give them a lot of props for these precons. It's just based off the one I have, because like there's an instant card here called an offer you can't refuse.
Okay.
So they use like a picture of Tidus after Riku finds him and pulls him aboard
Okay.
the ship. So obviously, the card name goes with that right there. But it's like even, the effect, it says counter target non-creature spell. Its controller creates 2 treasure tokens. And then in parentheses it says they're artifacts with tap sacrifice this token and add 1 mana of any color.
Okay.
So basically, it's really cool. And then there's like there's some monsters, and even, dude, some of the lands are really cool. Like the one is, it's Xanarkand, like when it's all lit, it's actually right here, when it's all like lit up green and everything.
Right.
And that one's called Temple of the False God.
Okay.
And I really like that they added the summons too.
Yeah. That's
like there's Yojimbo, the Magus sisters, Shion, and Valefor.
nice. No Bahamut?
No Bahamut.
Lame.
Might be in one of the other ones.
Okay. What about oh shit. What about Anima? Anima was a really cool
I
summon.
wish Anima was one of the cards. I really wish Anima was.
Like, I think just based on lore alone, Anima is probably one of the coolest Aeons.
Oh, for sure.
Just because, like, who would have ever expected Seymour to be using his mom as his key summon?
That is, dude, that is so dark.
And so many people didn't know it. It's like...
I know. I didn't know it until years later.
Oh, yeah? Nah, I had that spoiled up. So when I first played it, a buddy of mine, his brother was like the guru for this game. So I would call him up. I'd be like, hey, let me talk to your brother. And he'd be like, all right. So I'd sit there and I'd talk with him. Like, if I couldn't beat someone. Like, I remember struggling so damn hard against Seymour for that first fight at Shiva's temple. And...
okay, yeah.
So I called him. I was like, hey, man, I'm really struggling here. He's like, all right, well, let me go ahead and walk you through it. So I went ahead and I started the battle, and I was sitting there talking with him, letting him know. And he was like, all right, go ahead and take out the Guados first, because they're going to auto-heal him. So I took out the Guados first. And then he was like, all right, and I just focused fire on him, blah, blah, blah. And I remember getting through all of my Aeons, and he was like, all right, now summon Shiva. I was like, I don't have Shiva yet. He's like, where do you think you are right now? I was like, I'm in a temple. And I was like, oh, you got her. Because if you scroll all the way to the bottom, it showed her as question mark, because you'd never summoned her before. So, yeah, that was fun.
I think, and I felt so dumb after I found out, like, the easiest way to beat this boss. But, damn it, it's one of the very end bosses.
Unaleska?
Yes, Unaleska.
Yeah, holy.
Just heal her.
Yeah.
Just heal. Yep, holy. Just heal her.
Dude.
I just, as a kid, I just did not understand that concept. I'm like, I'm not healing the enemy. What?
Yeah, man,
and then
she's
I did
undead.
It one time, and it's like, yeah, and then I was like, oh, I get this now.
Yeah. It's just like, I know in Final Fantasy Tactics, you can throw a Phoenix down at any undead enemy and it'll insta-kill them.
For real?
Yeah. Yeah, like...
I feel like it's so counterproductive.
Right? Well, I mean, in a way it makes sense, because it's like, yeah, you're casting light magic on them, and they're undead, so of course it'll be extra effective on them and whatnot. So, I mean, to that it made sense to me, but in Final Fantasy X, when you got to the fight with Unaleska, if you had Yuna buffed out to the point where she was able to use Holy, it didn't, like, that spell is just so powerful. It's nuts. It
Yeah,
is crazy.
it really is. Like, dude, I don't know. I hold Final Fantasy X as one of my all-time favorite games.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first Final, like I said, first Final Fantasy I ever played, and honestly, after I'm done with Final Fantasy VII, I'm probably gonna do a playthrough of 10.
There you go. That'd be fun.
Especially just like because seeing all these cards, like I said, dude, they pick such good artworks, and they're like some of them are actually just like scenes taken straight out.
Yeah.
Like I know now they're obviously very very expensive, but there's some like there's like a full art of Tidus and Yuna when they're in the water in that cave.
Right.
The one, you know, you see it everywhere whenever you see Final Fantasy X.
Yeah, where they're swimming under the stars.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and then like all the characters too, like that I had forgotten about, like you know, Kiamari's in the deck. Even Shalinda is in the deck.
Okay.
One of the little side characters.
Yeah.
Trommel, Seymour, the weird looking dude that follows Seymour.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a card.
Is Seymour a card?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'd be upset if Seymour Guado wasn't there.
And then like they gave everybody like really cool abilities to fit their like roles in the game. Like Riku, you can take a counter off of one of your opponent's creatures and put it onto one of your creatures.
Oh, wow. So they have Maester Seymour, and then they also have Seymour Flux in that one, too.
Yes. Yes. And then there's Lulu. And you saw Sin, Unending Cataclysm.
Mm-hmm.
There's Maester Seymour. Waka. And then the one I was most excited about, and I kind of want to get a shiny just because, but dude, Orin is my boy.
Oh, yeah. Dude, Orin is one of the greatest, just one of the greatest Final Fantasy characters ever.
Dude, I remember whenever Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, and he was one of the characters in the game. I lost my shit. I was so excited to have Orin in my party again.
Now, which Orin do you have? Because I'm seeing a bunch of different kinds.
I have Venerated Guardian. It is
okay.
It's a 4-drop, 1 white, 3 colorless.
All right, yeah, I was just say because I see like I don't know if this is a real one or not, but Orin the Cursed Guardian, where it's 3 colorless, 1 black, 1 red, 1 green.
So there is like a whole set along with the precons.
Okay.
So, because like I got a pack with my precon.
Okay.
So you know, you can go out and rip packs, and there's gonna be so many. Like, now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, I might end up making just one more commander deck eventually. Because they do have 7. They also have, they have so many of them. But there's 3 characters that if I knew I could do it, I would do it.
Right.
But I would build a Squall deck. Obviously, Sephiroth, Cloud. But one that I honestly would really, really like to do is, now that you're saying it, I would build an Orin commander deck.
So, commanders, you said they can be any legendary creature, right?
Yes, but so all right. So say that. We'll just Tidus. That's the one I've been using as mine. His colors are green, white, and blue.
Okay.
So those are the only colors you're allowed to have in the deck.
Oh, okay.
So, so I can't run like red or black cards or anything like that.
Right. I was like, because
But now that's commander format. I don't know how it works with any other format because I've only ever played commander.
just because I see that there is a full orc Kefka the Court Mage here that I'd be very like if I were to get back into Magic or if I were to get into Magic. Although I see it's $100 for this full art card.
Yeah, the full art are they're pricey.
But yeah, so it's Kefka. He's a 2 colorless, 1 blue, 1 black, 1 red. And it says, whenever Kefka enters or attacks, each player discards a card. Then you draw a card for each type among cards discarded this way. And then it says, 8 colorless. For 8 colorless, it says each opponent sacrifices a permanent of their choice. Transform Kefka. Activate only as a sorcery.
Okay.
And it looks like he goes from being a 4/5 to a 5/7.
Huh.
I don't know. I think Kefka's super cool. I just always have.
Is he like the jester looking one?
Yeah, he's literally a god.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
that makes.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think he was from 6. I could be wrong. But I do remember hearing that he got upset with somebody, so he wiped out an entire village just because he was feeling it. Or wasn't feeling it, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Oh! So one topic that I did want to talk about that we...
Yeah.
That
I was just about to say.
Yeah, we did have another topic. The Nintendo Switch 2 came out. So that was a big one.
Did.
I know a lot of people were not excited for it. I know a lot of people were not ready for it. I know a lot of people were hating for it. But now I don't know if this is true, just because it is going off of one guy's statement. But apparently this guy is pretty big in the Nintendo world, I guess.
Okay.
I don't remember what his name is. Hang on, I have it written down here on my phone. It's Ninty Prime, Ninty Prime or Nintendo Prime, and according to him, this is what I guess he told a couple different agencies online who do gaming news and whatnot. But let me go ahead and read the TLDR. The Nintendo Switch 2 has set a new record by selling over 3 million units within 24 hours, tripling the PlayStation 4's previous launch day sales. With strong global demand and ample stock, it is poised to break 2-month sales records faster than any console in history. So,
Oh wow.
if that's true, that's nuts. If the Switch...
Yeah.
If the Switch 2 numbers are accurate, Nintendo has completely swept the competition by tripling the previous record. The record breaking doesn't stop there, as the Nintendo Switch 2 is teed up to break the all-time record for 2-month sales after a console launch, which is currently 4.5 million and is held by both the PS4 and PS5. At the current pace, the Switch 2 could break that record in a week, not months. If that comes to pass, that's nuts.
Dude, no kidding.
Like, I mean...
I honestly did not expect it to do that well. Like, I'm not trying to be a hater or anything. I just did not see it having that kind of success.
No, especially with all the flack that it was getting. Like...
Yeah, because, I mean, it blows my mind, honestly, because... I mean, and this is taking all the bias out of it. I mean, if you really, really, like, sit and look, and you're like, okay, is this really worth the money?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, now, I am one of the people. I was lucky enough. I did get my hands on one. So far, my wife seems to absolutely love it. And I can say that the hardware upgrade was definitely needed.
It's that noticeable.
So she plays this game called Disney Dreamlight Valley,
Okay.
something like that. And on her other Switch, the old one, it was pretty choppy. I think the game was just honestly too big for that system.
Right.
But she was able to load it up on the Switch too, and I walked in, and you could actually see like detail in the environment, like the like patches of grass, they're like checkerboarded almost, and you can actually see that now. Like you can see like out into the world, and it's not like a glitchy, just buggy mess.
Okay.
Now, I am curious though for myself. I want to see how the like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet run.
So it's funny that you mentioned that. I was scrolling through TikTok, like I find myself doing often, and there was someone who was doing a side-by-side comparison. They were standing on top of some building or whatnot, looking at the windmills, because that's a notorious thing with the Switch 1, that if you look at the windmills, you can see it like breaking frame, like the frame rate just going to absolute garbage because it's so far away, and you're looking at it and the pixels are just bleh. But apparently with the Switch 2, it's smooth.
Oh.
So I thought that was neat. I did think that was pretty neat. I'm kind of surprised at how well the improvements are. Like, I didn't realize how bad it was until I saw the side-by-side comparison.
Yeah, it's definitely, like I said, and I haven't seen Pokemon now, like, but just that Disney game that she plays, it's night and day. Like, there's literally no argument there.
Right.
So kudos to them for at least stepping up their game in that aspect.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people are comparing it to, like, the PS4. Which, that's fine. Like, that's whatever. To me, Nintendo's never been that company who are like, we need to get the best graphics, the best this, the best that, blah, 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 blah. It's like, now we're a family fun commodity.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. They've never been like the ones you expect to break records in the hardware department.
And then when they do, everyone loses their damn mind.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm not saying that they're breaking records or anything here, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. And for now, I might have stuck my foot in my mouth. I'll admit it here.
I mean, like, I've been watching some people play the new Mario Kart, and I'm not gonna lie, that looks fun. Like, that looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, she's been playing it, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to try it.
Right.
It looks really cool.
I just want to play as the cow.
Same.
Or Waluigi. I'm glad that they're giving Waluigi some love.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even really know. I guess I never really taken notice. Like I said, I'm not the biggest Nintendo guy.
Right. But
I have played my fair share of Nintendo stuff.
I mean, I don't foresee myself getting the Switch 2 anytime soon. I think what's going to drive me to get it is if they start to say, well, you need to Switch 2 to play Pokemon. Because as it's looking right now, ZA is going to be for the Switch 1 and 2. And Champions is going to be for Switch 1, 2, and mobile. So Gen 10, I'd imagine Gen 10 is going to be required to have a Switch 2, which then I'll probably have to cave and buy it. But I'm hoping by then, maybe it'll come down in price a little bit. Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, this, with the market on everything the way it is, it's hard to tell.
Oh, so one thing that I thought was really funny was, you know how as soon as Nintendo came out, and they were like, "Yep, no, we're gonna sell this for $450, and all of our games are gonna be $80." Blah blah blah. So Xbox is like, "Well, I want money too," so they jacked all their stuff up.
As they always are.
And then PlayStation rolls in, they're like, "Nah, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna dip our prices."
Did
Because
they really?
yeah, like they took $120 off of their PS5 Call of Duty 6 bundle. Like they dropped it. What was it? $120 I saw. I was like, what is this? And I don't know if it's just like a one-time promotion or what have you, but the fact that they dropped $120 on that just because they could, because everyone else was raising their prices, and Sony's like, well, we're actually gonna make money now, so we're gonna go ahead and dip these prices and mass sell our stuff. Like that's nuts.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't think Sony would be the one.
Yeah,
But I don't know. It honestly does kind of make sense because
someone had to
in
do
my
it.
mind, well, yes, I agree with that, but I'm thinking more along the lines of they've always kind of been the company that wanted to do things their way. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
they're not really about trying to put their exclusives anywhere except in their own
Mm-hmm.
on their own stores and everything like that. But it's not a bad thing. I'm glad somebody stepped up to do it.
But yeah, no, I guess it was or was it May 28th? It looks like they announced that Sony will be selling their PS5 console with Call of Duty 6 bundle for $399.99, a $119.99 discount on the average sale price. That's so crazy. Other discounts that they announced will be $50 off of a PS5 Pro consoles, $30 off of PSVR 2 headsets and bundles, and then $30 off of their controllers. Dude, if their controllers are dropping by 30, I might have to go pick up another controller.
And here Xbox is saying, "Oh, we're just going to go ahead and raise the prices on literally everything."
Yeah. Yeah, right here it says the Xbox Series X was priced at $499.99, and now it jumped up to $599.99. That's
just
crazy.
So gross.
Yeah, it's wow. I mean, it's smart for them to do it, I guess. Like,
I mean, I guess so, but like, damn.
I just wonder if it's still going to be like how long it's gonna go, because I guess it was for their days of play. Like, it was a big days of play sale. So I'm wondering now that the days of play are gone. Sony's annual days of play sale is live between now and June 11th. So it looks like it's getting ready to wrap up now. Well, in a couple of days.
Okay.
But still, for that key period of time where they're able to sell stuff for basically dirt cheap, in I guess compared to some of the other stuff that's out there.
Yeah, I mean, you got third-party companies that are, putting their hand in the competition. I mean, and I'm sure that affects everything too.
Right. Oh yeah, there it is. I'm looking at the it just went on to Amazon, and it looks like normally the controllers are about $80. Well, this one here is 75, but it's now 55. And then their volcanic red and all these other special colors are normally $80, and they're 60. That's crazy. Oh, they even dropped the price on their $200 ones too. Whatever the hell these, I don't know. I've never heard of an edged controller, but
You say edged?
it says PlayStation DualSense Edge Wireless Controller Midnight Black. It's normally a $200 controller, and it's on sale for $169. I'm guessing this here is like PlayStation's version of Xbox's Elite. Oh, it's got bonus triggers on the back. on the bottom. Yeah, so I'm guessing this is supposed to be like the Xbox Pro controllers and stuff.
Okay.
Oh, that Chroma Pearl one looks pretty cool. I like that all-white controller. Normally it's $80 and it's 60. Not bad.
It's not too terrible.
Nah.
So that's not the worst thing ever.
Right? Amazon, sponsor us. PlayStation, sponsor us. We're hawking your stuff. Huh.
Yeah, dude, come on. Hook some brothers up.
Right? Send me another controller. Both of my controllers have really bad stick drift.
Listen, I will switch to a PlayStation controller if you send me one.
Damn straight. There you go. Just not one of the ones that controlled that submarine.
Yeah, let's not do that. I like to have a good time, not the end times.
My computer imploded, and I don't know why. Too soon? Possibly.
Oh, dude. Oh, I would cry. I would literally cry.
But I think with that being said, I think this is a pretty good place to wrap it up.
Yeah, I think so. You know, we went over a lot of good stuff.
Absolutely.
You know, down in the comments though, you don't have to go into a lot of detail if you don't want to, but let us know what your six are. What's your team? Who are you bringing into the world with you?
Oh, there you go. Yeah. What is your realistic Pokemon team? That'd be fun to know. I'd be interested.
It would be fun to know.
Yeah.
You know, let's drum up some discussion here. You know, let us know, and we'll definitely we'll chime in our opinions. But yeah, let's do that. I want to see some interaction in the comment section.
Yeah. That means tippity or typity. If you've made it this far. If you made it this far, you're almost an hour and 20 minutes into it, so I appreciate your time.
Yeah, we really do. I do want to... We really, really iterate that. You guys, you know, we've started to catch a little bit of growth.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not, you know, that we're not packing the biggest numbers in the world. But for those of you that are out there just throwing us a like, giving us, you know, a couple minutes of your time throughout the day, thank you.
Absolutely.
Because you guys are making this happen. And, you know, also, if you're this far, you know, you probably like us enough that you drop us a comment and maybe we'll talk about what you want to hear. Aha.
Absolutely. If you've got a topic you want to hear, let us know so that way we could talk about it and then you could hear about it. And then we can all, you know, talk about it together in the comment section.
And I mean, even if it's something that we're not like, you know, experts on, like maybe you want to hear our take on a video game one of us has never heard of. We're down still.
Oh yeah, research is fun. I will look up whatever game you want me to look up just for us to talk about it. Absolutely, we'll do that. Absolutely. I talk about it.
You know, yeah. You talk, we talk, everybody talks. It's a good time.
Absolutely, positively.
But with that, everybody, we'll catch you next week. Dylan and I are going to set to and pass turn.
Have a good night, guys. Bye, Craig.
Bye, Craig.